A doctor with missing memories and little recollection of her former lives? It's more common than you may think. What about a doctor who cannot remember anything ever? Today, let's talk 8's many amnesiac turns. Oh, and welcome to the Matrix. We hate stories. Who's got time to waste on intros? All I care about are the cold, hard facts, such as the 8th Doctor has lost his memory no less than 15 times. Like in any long-running TV series, an amnesia subplot is almost obligatory, inevitable. It's an easy trope to play and a quick way to revert a character to square one for desperate drama. It's also a massively notorious cliche, indicative of a lost series with little idea of direction. I'm not sure that it's been done well, ever. And 8, it seems, is a character that many saw as a roadblock back in the 90s. Where do we take him? How about backwards? And so the poor sod is reverted back to factory settings regularly. Now, he's not the only Doctor to suffer from the old forget patch. It happens. Wow, a lot actually. In Minuet and Hell, Charlie and 8 lose their memories in a crash only to be identified by the Brigadier. Something Inside features the Brain Worm, feasting on the Doctor's memories. Terra Firma, spoilers for a great audio play. He's lost all knowledge of 2 of his earliest companions, before Davros did something very nasty to them. Father Time tells us the Doctor forgot Gallifrey was destroyed, and just wandered around Earth for 100 years. A brief hit of memory loss also starts the chain of events that split up the Doctor and Charlie. Orbis, the War Master, Endgame, Company of Friends, where he rocks up to Villa Diodati the first time. Have you met this Doctor? I'm looking all over for him. Even in the Time War, the Garden of Death, the Daleks wipe him clean. The Earth Arc, memory loss. The TV movie, memory loss. He's definitely gotten a reputation for it. As did Big Finish. The amnesia was so comically consistent that it became somewhat of a running joke within the fandom. It's certainly tiring to see this Doctor in particular reset so often. Especially as this isn't even a trope that has ended. We're all self-aware, but Big Finish can't help themselves. The War Master box set was last year. The Time War Volume 2 was the year before that. God, give someone else a go. I've definitely noticed that it's for less defined Doctors who spend their tenure relearning who the Doctor is. Because instead of giving your character a unique personality of their own, it's much easier to make the audience care by connecting them up to the hordes of lore that have come before. Am I throwing shade? Yes. I'm just saying, throughout a lot of Whittaker's run, her main personality trait has been reaffirming us constantly that she is the Doctor. I know who I am. I'm pretty sure as prerequisites go, that's the bare minimum. It seems in the early days the same applied to the fairly generic Edwardian aloof romantic Paul McGann. Now, yeah, sometimes maybe they fell back on old Doctor's experiences to fill the void of a new persona. Every regeneration episode gets away with doing this once, as it's quite likely writers saw the TV movie and genuinely didn't know where to go with him. Oh, he's the one who kisses and forgets what's going on, because he didn't have other stories to fill that space. But it's also functional. The 8th Doctor has been around a long time in several different runs, costumes and ranges. It's fragmented, but somewhat necessary to reboot him. Less than Molly Sullivan's and the War in Heavens and the Lucy Millers would just shatter this incarnation. It should also be mentioned that in the Earth arc of the books, the series ends with 8's memories never being restored. Ever. A regular Jack Harkness, if you will. Mind Crush! Now, the TV movie gets a pass, as do Daria River Songs of Grace and Starship Theseus. This happens so much! But who started the trend? Well, it was Uncle Terry. Uncle Terry! I can never stay mad at you. Terrence Dix as the 8 Doctors has the Master trick him out of his memories and is guided by the ghost of Rassilon to get them back one by one, Doctor by Doctor. Wow, who knew that such an esteemed founding father of the program could write fanfic? It's like, come on, let my boy live. Stop taking his memory away, especially when it doesn't lead to any actual character development. It's contrived enough when a sitcom does it. Never mind a sci-fi series 15 plus times in one tenure. The character arc just looks like a roller coaster. There's no consistency. For instance, you might think the Doctor would remember something as important as destroying Gallifrey, where it's actually revealed to be some wacky Matrix hijinks that made him forget. Ooh, the Matrix, where desperate arcs go to die. We should get him like the Memento tattoos, just tattoo his name and origin and wiki page on his arm. He won't forget then. Is the 8th Doctor woefully inconsistent, a raging alcoholic, or is he doing a really elaborate bit to pick up Earth girls? Just saying.
Matrix, activate!
Sherlock Holmes was a real man who became fictional. Okay, God, did I mention the war in heaven? Because that's a whole bag of worms I don't want to open yet. But it's too late now. I've only gone and themed a whole video around it. Sherlock Holmes, like every British mainstay, is a regular to the Doctor Who verse. And no, not just Super Wholock. May it burn in hell. In the aptly named Faction Paradox novel, Erasing Sherlock, Mr. Holmes goes timey-wimey and is transformed into a fictional character, whereupon his escapades will presumably be exhausted until the end of time. Whereas the Doctor encounters him in all-consuming fire. So not only does the Doctor team up with the world's greatest detective, second best, third best, but they battle Lovecraftian night terrors together. Oh boy, get a load of this sentence. He was supposedly drugged and taken to the portal to Rylea, which they entered riding a Rakshasa. Holmes and Watson helped the Doctor battle the creature posing as the Great Old One, known as Azathoth. Don't remember that in Hounds of the Baskervilles. The 5th Doctor even bought a property down the road in Baker Street, as anyone who's following the new Stranded series will be able to tell you. Not only did they adapt this novel fairly recently, but Big Finish have their own on-staff Sherlock, played by the big man himself. Get you a man that can do both. Big Finish's Sherlock has even crossed over with the likes of Dorian Gray. He gets around. I just picture all of the British IPs hanging out in the land of fiction having crossover fun all day. Hey Big Finish, where's my box set on that? Can we meet Noddy? Did Noddy used to be a real person who was made fictional? Hey, I don't know, you can't just go assuming those things now. The rulebook was thrown out a while ago.
There's no Noddy.
Sorry, yeah, that'd be ridiculous. But when they're not hunting down elder gods, he's reading up about the war in heaven. Sherlock Holmes, in the twilight of his career, was researching the effects of this great battle, and what it was doing to the early 20th century. Eventually, Sherlock read the Book of the Enemy, erasing him from history. In an alternate history, where River Song didn't kill the 11th Doctor, there's also Sherlock Holmes being the host of an ITV1 show, which I always thought was a very strange detail. Sometimes the Sherlock TV show even exists in verse, and I don't know how I feel about that. There was that one time that the Coraline 12th Doctor met up with Sherlock. I don't think we should count that though. The 12th Doctor meets new companion, Sprout Boy. Nobody loves Sprout Boy. I've gone off topic again, haven't I? And our third and final factoid, the Emperor. Get a load of this guy. What Marvel superhero do you think he frequently battles? Well, this is the Emperor. Among all of the facts I've brought you in this series, this one is my favourite. As grimdark as it is ridiculous, as series ruining as it is genuinely and admittedly cool, the Emperor is an evil tyrant incarnation of the Doctor in the far future. Okay, where to start? First mentioned in Father Time by relative newcomer and canon bull in a china shop Lance Parkin, as supreme ruler of the world with a secret police force, the Emperor controlled all of time and space travel and was able to crush any perceived threat or rebellion before it had begun. We only catch hearsay or glimpses of this far future, but always of one moment in particular. Often depicted holding his newly born child, he was assassinated on the night of her birth. That child is explicitly revealed to be the Doctor's. Her name is Miranda Dawkins. She comes with her own Superman origin and comic book series, as short-lived as it was. Not a trick, not an arsepool, not a parallel world, nor a Valiard situation. The 8th Doctor adopts his own future daughter, and the Emperor is the real deal. Eventually, she becomes a good authoritarian fascist empress, and sacrifices herself for 8. So many questions. The Emperor is also described as the last of the Time Lords. You wanted insane, show-breaking lore, and the War in Heaven arc certainly has that. Parkin also went on to have the Master describe he and the Doctor as two of the four surviving elementals, and that they needed to rule the Time Lordless new universe together. Something he agrees to. Cartmel plan? Get that weak shit out of here. The Doctor is now a Gurren Lagann villain. Oh, nothing ever debunked this, by the way, or attempted to invalidate it. Because why would you? I think you can pull off anything in the universe so long as you go all in on the idea. The Emperor is a mad idea for Doctor Who that maybe doesn't fit the series, but it's not the only time it's happened. In The Four Doctors by Paul Cornell, the Daleks found a potential timeline where the 10th Doctor lets Wilf die in the end of time. Which one of us is more valuable to the universe? I don't want to go, so I'm not going. And then rules over the galaxy as a Time Lord victorious tyrant, only to be assassinated as well by Raxacoricophalopatorian. Further still, he looks identical to the Father Time in the 1969 TV comic, who's again revealed to be a mysterious ascended future Doctor. I feel like I'm going crazy. It all links up. It all connects! Will we ever see the Emperor in any capacity ever again? No. Technically, the arc was wrapped up, and although he should still be a come-in far in the Doctor's timeline, I think we have to file him away with the rest of Action Paradox, The War in Heaven, and Looms. What are Looms? I'll leave that one with you for homework next week. Thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, thank you for your views.